Welcome to the How-To Factory, the channel where we reveal the secrets behind how your favorite foods, products, and everyday essentials are made. Rice. Simple, dependable, and eaten by over half the planet every single day. Whether it's the fragrant jasmine rice steaming on a Thai dinner plate, the sticky short grain holding together a perfect piece of sushi, or the nutty aroma of basmati in a slow-cooked biryani, rice is everywhere. But how does this humble grain actually go from muddy paddies to polished perfection inside a bag on your grocery store shelf? Today, we're going deep inside a rice processing plant to uncover the fascinating journey behind one of humanity's most essential foods. Rice has been cultivated for over 9,000 years, beginning in China's wetlands of the Yangtze River Valley. From there, it spread to India, Southeast Asia, and eventually to Africa, Europe, and the Americas. In fact, rice is now grown on every continent except Antarctica. Its ability to adapt to different climates and soils has made it a staple food for billions. Before we dive into the machinery and technology that bring this ancient grain from field to feast, go ahead and rise to the occasion. Hit that like button, harvest a subscribe, and pop the notification bell so you never miss a grain of how the world really works. There are more than 40,000 varieties of rice globally, but they generally fall into three categories based on grain length: short, medium, and long. Each has its own texture, flavor, and best uses. Long grain rice, like jasmine or basmati, stays fluffy and separate when cooked. Medium grain, like arborio, becomes creamy, perfect for risottos. Short grain rice, such as the kind used in sushi, is sticky and tender, ideal for molding and rolling. Rice starts its life in the field. Most rice is grown in paddies, flat fields deliberately flooded with water. This water not only supports rice growth but also helps control weeds and pests. The crop goes through several stages, from seedling to flowering to ripening, a process that takes 3 to 6 months depending on the variety and growing conditions. When the grains have matured and the stalks turn a golden color, it's time for harvest. In traditional farming, this can still be done by hand using sickles, but in large-scale commercial operations, combines are used. These machines cut the rice plants and separate the grain from the stalk in one smooth motion. The harvested rice, known as paddy rice or rough rice, still wears a tough outer husk. Before it's edible, it must be dried, cleaned, hulled, milled, and sometimes polished. Drying is crucial. Freshly harvested rice contains about 20 to 25% moisture, and it needs to be reduced to around 14% for safe storage. Industrial dryers use heated air to bring it down to the right level. Next, the rice is cleaned. Machines use air pressure, sieves, magnets, and other techniques to remove dirt, stones, bits of husk, and even stray metal pieces that could have come from harvesting equipment. Then comes hulling, the step that removes the outer husk to reveal brown rice. This husk is inedible and extremely tough, so it's separated using machines with rubber rollers that apply just enough pressure to crack the husk without damaging the grain inside. At this point, you have brown rice, still covered in bran layers that give it a nutty taste and chewy texture. Many people prefer brown rice for its higher fiber and nutrient content. But to create white rice, the grain goes through milling, where the bran and germ are gently removed. This makes the rice more shelf-stable and gives it a softer texture and neutral flavor. Some producers take an extra step to polish the rice using brushes or fine sandpaper-like rollers. This gives the grain a smooth, shiny appearance. Although polishing doesn't change the taste much. There's also parboiled rice, which is steamed before milling. This process pushes some of the nutrients from the bran into the endosperm, making it more nutritious than regular white rice while still retaining the soft texture after cooking. Finally, the rice is sorted by size and color. Broken grains are separated and used in other products like rice flour, cereals, or pet food. The intact, uniform grains are bagged, sealed, and labeled for shipment to markets worldwide. And there's more. Specialty rices like black, red, and wild rice each have unique flavors, colors, and nutritional profiles. Black rice, often called forbidden rice, is rich in antioxidants. Red rice retains more bran and germ, making it higher in fiber. And wild rice? Not technically rice at all. It's a grass seed harvested primarily in North America. From ancient wetlands to state-of-the-art factories, the journey of rice is one of precision, patience, and innovation. So next time you're cooking up a bowl, you'll know, behind that simple side dish lies a story of thousands of years, global migration, and modern engineering. Today, we're diving into something you've probably seen at a farmer's market or on a trendy cocktail menu, but might not know much about. Vibrantly colored, packed with nutrients, and full of desert mystique, the cactus pear, also known as prickly pear, is a favorite. But how does this spiky fruit transform into the smooth, pourable puree used in juices, jams, desserts, and gourmet kitchens? We're heading to the fields and into the processing plant to show you how cactus pear puree is made, from harvest to the final product. Before we get messy with pulp and seeds, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the How-To Factory, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the fascinating world of how stuff is made. Cactus pears grow on the Opuntia cactus, a resilient plant native to the Americas, especially Mexico, where it's known as nopal and has been cultivated for centuries. The fruit itself grows on the flat paddle-like segments of the cactus and comes in a range of colors, from deep magenta to lime green to golden yellow. It's sweet, floral, and subtly earthy, and loaded with antioxidants, vitamin C, magnesium, and fiber. The journey starts with careful harvesting. The cactus petals and fruit are covered in tiny hair-like spines called glochids. Workers use gloves, tongs, and special tools to twist and pop off the pears without damaging them. It's often done early in the morning to avoid the intense desert heat. Once harvested, the pears are transported to the processing facility, where the first challenge is removing those pesky spines. The fruit goes through a dry brushing system or is blasted with air jets to knock off the glochids without bruising the flesh. After that, it's quickly washed and sanitized to remove dust, spines, and any remaining residue. Now comes the slicing. Each fruit is cut open by a series of stainless steel blades that split the skin and expose the bright, seedy pulp inside. The entire pulp, seeds, juice, and all, is scooped out and sent into an industrial pulper. Here's where the magic starts. The pulp is pushed through fine mesh screens and centrifuges that separate the juice and soft flesh from the seeds and skin. The result is a thick, vibrantly colored puree. Depending on the variety, it could be hot pink, deep orange, or emerald green. To ensure a smooth consistency and shelf stability, the puree is pasteurized, heated just enough to kill bacteria without damaging flavor or color. Then, it's often passed through a vacuum evaporator to gently reduce water content and increase thickness without using high heat. Some purees are left raw and frozen for premium flavor. Others are blended with stabilizers like citric or ascorbic acid to keep the color bright and the texture uniform, especially for commercial uses like beverages or baked goods. Once processed, the cactus pear puree is filled into drums, tubs, or pouches depending on the final customer, whether it's going to a smoothie manufacturer, a jam company, or a Michelin-starred restaurant. And nothing goes to waste. The leftover seeds and peels are often used as livestock feed, turned into compost, or even repurposed for natural dyes and cosmetics. It's a fascinating mix of ancient fruit and modern food science. The next time you sip on a vibrant prickly pear margarita or taste that bright pink swirl in a sorbet, you'll know there's a story of careful harvesting, delicate handling, and high-tech processing behind every drop. Frozen pizza. Quick, convenient, and undeniably delicious, has become a staple in households worldwide. Whether it's a late-night snack, an easy family dinner, or a go-to meal when you just don't feel like cooking, frozen pizza has saved the day more times than we can count. But have you ever wondered how this cheesy, crispy, perfectly preserved meal goes from raw ingredients to the freezer aisle? Today, we're stepping inside a frozen pizza factory to see exactly how it's made. Pizza has been around for centuries, originating in Naples, Italy, where simple flatbreads were topped with tomatoes, cheese, and herbs. But frozen pizza is a much more recent invention. The first commercially available frozen pizza hit stores in the 1950s, when food preservation technology made it possible to freeze fully prepared meals without ruining their texture and flavor. Since then, frozen pizza has evolved, with factories producing everything from thin crust to deep dish, gluten-free to stuffed crust, and an endless variety of toppings. By the way, if you love learning how everyday foods are made, consider subscribing to the channel. We post videos like this every week, and your support helps us a lot. Now let's take a look inside a frozen pizza factory. The process begins with the dough. Massive industrial mixers combine flour, water, yeast, salt, and a touch of oil to create the perfect pizza base. The dough is kneaded until smooth, then sent through a rolling machine that flattens it to the desired thickness. Some factories make classic round crusts, while others produce square or even French bread-style bases. Once shaped, the dough is partially baked in large ovens at high temperatures. This step, known as par baking, helps the crust hold up during freezing and ensures it crisps up nicely when cooked. Next comes the sauce. Large vats filled with crushed tomatoes, garlic, herbs, and spices are simmered to create a rich, flavorful base. The sauce is then pumped through a series of nozzles that evenly distribute it onto each crust as it moves down the production line. The amount of sauce is carefully measured. Too much and the pizza could get soggy. Too little and it won't have enough flavor. Once sauced, it's time for the cheese. Factories use massive shredding machines to break down huge blocks of mozzarella and other cheeses into perfectly sized pieces. The shredded cheese is then evenly sprinkled over the pizza. Some brands use a blend of cheeses, adding provolone, parmesan, or cheddar for extra flavor. Now, for the toppings. Whether it's pepperoni, mushrooms, bell peppers, sausage, or even pineapple, the toppings are added with precision. Some factories use conveyor belts and automated dispensers to drop ingredients onto each pizza, while others have workers manually place larger or specialty toppings to ensure an even distribution. Once fully assembled, the pizzas enter a blast freezer. This is one of the most critical steps in the process. The pizzas are rapidly frozen at temperatures as low as -40 degrees Fahrenheit or -40 degrees Celsius, using powerful air circulation systems. This quick freezing process prevents ice crystals from forming, preserving the texture and flavor of the crust, sauce, and toppings. Unlike slow freezing, which can make food mushy, blast freezing locks in freshness, ensuring the pizza tastes just as good when baked at home. After freezing, the pizzas move to the packaging line. Each pizza is either shrink-wrapped in plastic or placed inside a sealed box with a plastic wrap underneath to keep it fresh. The packaging is designed to protect the pizza from freezer burn and ensure it stays intact during transportation. Finally, the boxed pizzas are stacked onto pallets and shipped to grocery stores worldwide. Once they arrive, they're stocked in freezers, waiting for hungry customers to grab them, take them home, and pop them in the oven for a delicious meal in minutes. So, the next time you toss a frozen pizza in the oven, remember the incredible journey it took to get from a factory to your freezer. From carefully crafted dough to precision freezing technology, every step is designed to bring you a perfect slice anytime you crave it. Tapatio hot sauce, bold, spicy, and full of flavor, is a staple in kitchens worldwide. Whether drizzled over tacos, eggs, soups, or even popcorn, this iconic sauce adds the perfect kick to just about anything. But have you ever wondered how this fiery red sauce is made? Today, we're stepping inside the factory to see exactly how Tapatio comes to life. Hot sauce has been around for thousands of years, with early civilizations like the Aztecs using chili peppers in their cooking. Tapatio, however, is a more recent creation. Founded in 1971 by José Luis Saavedra Sr., Tapatio was born in California, but crafted with the rich, bold flavors of Mexican cuisine. Unlike other vinegar-heavy hot sauces, Tapatio focuses on the natural heat and flavor of aged red peppers, blended with just the right balance of spices for a smooth, versatile sauce. Over the years, it has become one of the most popular hot sauces in the United States, recognized by its signature charro Mexican cowboy logo. By the way, if you love learning how everyday foods are made, consider subscribing to the channel. We post videos like this every week, and your support helps us a lot. Now, let's take a look inside the Tapatio factory. It all starts with the key ingredient, red chili peppers. These peppers are carefully sourced from farms known for growing high-quality chilies. Once harvested, the peppers are transported to the factory, where they are inspected for ripeness, color, and heat level. Only the best ones make the cut. The next step is processing the peppers. They are washed thoroughly to remove any dirt or debris before being ground into a thick, fiery mash. This mash is then combined with water, salt, and a special blend of spices. Unlike some hot sauces that use a high amount of vinegar, Tapatio's recipe relies more on the natural flavor of the chilies, balanced with just a touch of acidity. The mixture is then cooked in large stainless steel vats. This cooking process helps blend the flavors together and brings out the deep, smoky heat of the chilies. The sauce is slowly simmered to the perfect consistency, allowing the spices and peppers to infuse fully. Once the sauce reaches the ideal thickness and flavor profile, it's time for quality control. Samples are tested to ensure the heat level, texture, and taste match Tapatio's signature flavor. This step is crucial. Any slight variation in spice or consistency could change the final product. Next comes bottling. The hot sauce is pumped through a sterile filling system and poured into Tapatio's iconic glass bottles. Each bottle is sealed with a cap and labeled with the brand's signature logo before being packed into cases. Finally, the bottles are loaded onto pallets and shipped to grocery stores, restaurants, and homes worldwide. Whether you find it in a small taco shop or a major supermarket, Tapatio's bold flavor remains the same, bringing a perfect balance of spice and zest to every dish. So, the next time you shake a few drops of Tapatio onto your food, remember the journey it took, from farm-fresh peppers to the perfect bottle of hot sauce. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating factory tours. Balsamic vinegar, rich, complex, and packed with deep, tangy sweetness, isn't just another condiment. It's the secret ingredient in everything from salad dressings to marinades and even desserts. A drizzle of high-quality balsamic vinegar can transform a dish, bringing out layers of flavor that balance acidity with natural sweetness. But have you ever wondered how this luxurious vinegar is made? Today, we're taking you inside the fascinating process of crafting balsamic vinegar from vineyard to bottle. Balsamic vinegar has a history stretching back over 1,000 years. Originating in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy, it was once a prized delicacy reserved for nobility. Traditional balsamic vinegar is still made using centuries-old methods, aged in wooden barrels for decades to develop its signature rich, syrupy consistency. While traditional varieties are still produced today, modern factories have developed more efficient methods to bring balsamic vinegar to kitchens worldwide. By the way, if you love learning how everyday foods are made, consider subscribing to the channel. We post videos like this every week, and your support helps us. It all begins with grapes, usually Trebbiano or Lambrusco, grown in the rolling vineyards of Italy. Once harvested, the grapes are crushed to extract their juice, which is then cooked down into a thick concentrated liquid called grape must. This must is the foundation of balsamic vinegar, providing the natural sugars that will ferment and develop into its signature flavor. Next comes the fermentation process. The grape must be transferred to stainless steel vats, where natural yeasts convert sugars into alcohol. Then, acetic acid bacteria take over, slowly transforming the alcohol into vinegar. This crucial step is what gives balsamic vinegar its signature tangy acidity. After fermentation, the vinegar is aged. In traditional balsamic production, this aging process happens in wooden barrels made from oak, cherry, chestnut, or mulberry. Each type of wood adds its own subtle flavor, creating the complex depth for which balsamic vinegar is known for. Over the years, the vinegar naturally evaporates and thickens, intensifying in both taste and consistency. Some balsamic vinegars are aged for 12, 25, or even 50 years, making them some of the most sought-after condiments in the world. In large-scale production, the process is slightly different. Instead of aging in small wooden barrels, the vinegar is matured in larger vats and sometimes blended with wine vinegar to accelerate the process. This allows for a faster turnaround while still achieving the signature sweet, tangy balance. Once the vinegar has aged to perfection, it goes through a final filtration process to remove any sediment. After passing rigorous quality checks, it's bottled and labeled, ready to be shipped worldwide. The highest quality balsamic vinegar is thick, glossy, and rich in flavor, while more affordable varieties are slightly thinner and milder, perfect for everyday cooking. From the vineyards of Italy to your kitchen, balsamic vinegar has remained a culinary staple for centuries, adding depth and sophistication to countless dishes. So the next time you drizzle it over a fresh caprese salad or reduce it into a rich glaze, you'll know exactly what made that perfect balance of sweetness and acidity. Red wine vinegar, bold, tangy, and intensely flavorful, is more than just a salad dressing ingredient. It's a key component in marinades, sauces, and even pickling, adding acidity that enhances and balances flavors. You've probably splashed it over a fresh salad or used it to brighten up a dish. But have you ever wondered how this kitchen staple is made? Today, we're taking you through the fascinating process of transforming red wine into the sharp, complex vinegar on store shelves. Red wine vinegar has been used for centuries, dating back to ancient civilizations like the Greeks and Romans, who discovered that when wine was left exposed to air, it naturally turned into vinegar. The name itself comes from the French word vinaigre, meaning sour wine. Over time, the process was refined, and today, factories use controlled methods to produce high-quality vinegar efficiently while maintaining the depth of flavor that makes it so popular. By the way, if you love learning how everyday foods are made, consider subscribing to the channel. We post videos like this every week, and your support helps us. It all starts with red wine, usually made from grape varieties like Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, or Zinfandel. These wines are sourced from vineyards worldwide and chosen for their rich flavors and acidity. Once delivered to the factory, the wine is tested for quality before beginning its transformation. The first step is fermentation. The red wine is placed into large stainless steel tanks, exposing it to oxygen. Special bacteria, known as acetobacter, are introduced to kickstart the process of turning alcohol into acetic acid, the main compound that gives vinegar its sour taste. This fermentation can take several weeks to months, depending on the desired strength and complexity of the final product. For traditional red wine vinegar, aging is an essential step. The vinegar is transferred into wooden barrels, often oak, cherry, or chestnut, where it continues to develop its rich, well-rounded flavor. The wood subtly infuses the vinegar with additional depth, smoothing out its acidity and enhancing its natural fruitiness. Some vinegars are aged for several years, creating a more complex and mellow taste. In large-scale production, the process is sometimes accelerated using the submerged fermentation method, where bacteria grow on floating wood shavings inside tanks, increasing surface area and speeding up fermentation. This allows manufacturers to produce vinegar faster while still retaining its signature tangy taste. Once the vinegar has reached the perfect balance of acidity and flavor, it's filtered to remove any impurities. Some varieties are left unfiltered for a more robust, natural taste, while others go through multiple filtration stages to create a more straightforward and more refined product. Finally, the red wine vinegar is bottled, labeled, and shipped worldwide. Whether it's a high-end aged variety or a more affordable option for everyday cooking, each bottle holds the result of careful fermentation, aging, and craftsmanship. From ancient winemaking traditions to modern kitchens, red wine vinegar has stood the test of time, bringing bold acidity and rich depth to dishes worldwide. So the next time you use it in a vinaigrette, a marinade, or a slow-cooked sauce, you'll know exactly what went into making that perfect balance of tartness and flavor. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more factory-made insights. Have a favorite food you'd like us to explore? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching The How-To Factory. Have you ever been curious about how your favorite crispy potato snacks are made? From the humble tater tot to the golden perfection of French fries, the crispy crunch of waffle fries, and the delicious bite of potato croquettes, the journey from farm to fryer is more fascinating than you might think. In this video, we're taking you behind the scenes to reveal the step-by-step process of making these beloved potato treats. Get ready to see the high-tech machinery, secret ingredients, and expert techniques that turn simple spuds into irresistible snacks we can't stop munching on. Join us as we unveil the process behind the snacks that brighten your day, from the first mix to the final bite. At number 1, we have tater tots. It all starts with fresh potatoes. These potatoes are harvested from the fields and then sent to the factory. The first step is a thorough washing to remove any dirt and debris, making sure the potatoes are clean before moving on. Once the potatoes are washed, they're peeled using special machinery that scrapes off the skin. After that, the potatoes are grated into small, uniform pieces. This grated texture is key for creating the classic tater tot consistency, giving them that crispy exterior and soft inside. At this stage, some factories add a little seasoning, flour, or other ingredients to help bind the grated potatoes together. This mixture is essential for keeping the tots in their shape once they're formed. Now, the grated potato mixture is fed into a machine that shapes them into those familiar, small, cylindrical tots. These little bits are formed and ready to get crispy. Before they're fried, the tots go through a blanching process, where they're briefly cooked in hot water or steam. This step helps set their shape and get them ready for the next stage of cooking. Next, the tots are deep-fried in hot oil until they turn golden brown and crispy on the outside. This is the crucial step where the tots get their perfect crunch while staying soft and fluffy inside. Once fried, the tater tots are quickly frozen to lock in that freshly cooked flavor. Freezing also helps them hold their shape and ensures they stay crispy when you cook them at home. Finally, the frozen tots are packaged and ready to be shipped off to stores and restaurants. From there, they make their way to your plate, ready for you to enjoy with your favorite dipping sauces. From farm-fresh potatoes to a crispy delight, the journey of a tater tot is a process of precision and care. So next time you enjoy a plate of these crispy treats, remember the journey they've taken to reach your plate. At number 2, we have French fries, a global fast food favorite that trace their roots to Belgium in the late 17th century. They gained the moniker French fries during World War I when American soldiers associated them with French-speaking Belgians. Today, these crispy delights are a staple of menus worldwide. The journey of creating French fries begins with the mechanical harvesting of top-quality potatoes. Specialized equipment carefully extracts the potatoes from the soil, ensuring minimal damage during the process. Once harvested, the potatoes are transported to the factory for cleaning. A roller process removes small rocks, soil, and leaves, leaving the potatoes spotless. Following this, a sorting machine classifies the potatoes by size using vibrating grids. Smaller potatoes pass through the grid gaps, while larger ones are retained for different uses. The larger potatoes are destined for the classic strip-shaped fries, while smaller ones are shaped into cubes or unique rings, offering a variety of styles to suit diverse culinary preferences. Each step in the process from farm to fryer ensures the fries maintain their signature quality and taste. Once sorted, the potatoes transform into French fries by entering a large steaming chamber. A brief 10-second exposure to pressurized steam softens the skins, allowing them to be easily removed with minimal force. This task is handled efficiently by a specialized machine called the peeler. After peeling, the potatoes are thoroughly washed with water to ensure they are spotless. Workers then inspect the potatoes, discarding any with green or spoiled spots and removing lingering bits of skin. Chopping the potatoes into their signature fry shape involves one of two methods. A hydraulic system propels them against cutting blades using running water, or a rotary mechanical slicer precisely cuts them into uniform pieces. The chopped fries undergo a high-tech quality check as they pass by a camera linked to a computer system. Each piece is meticulously analyzed for size and color. Any fry that doesn't meet the strict quality standards is flagged and removed from the production line using an air jet. Next, the fries enter the fryer, where they cook for about 2 minutes in non-hydrogenated vegetable oil. Once fried, excess oil drains away through perforations in the conveyor belt, leaving the fries crisp and ready for the next stage. The fries are then quickly frozen at temperatures between -15 degrees Celsius and -25 degrees Celsius, a process that takes about 10 minutes to ensure they're ready for packaging and distribution. Now, with just a quick cook in hot oil or an air fryer, these golden delights are ready to be enjoyed, fresh and crisp every time. And last but not least, we have potato croquettes, a beloved treat known for their creamy interior and super crispy shell. It all begins with fresh potatoes. These potatoes are harvested and then washed thoroughly to remove any dirt and debris, ensuring they are clean and ready for the next steps in production. After washing, the potatoes are peeled using specialized machinery that removes the skins. Once peeled, the potatoes are mashed to create a smooth, creamy texture that forms the base for the croquette filling. The mashed potatoes are then mixed with a variety of ingredients. Common additions include seasonings like salt and pepper, as well as other ingredients like cheese, herbs, or meat, depending on the recipe. This mixture gives the croquettes their signature flavor and texture. Next, wet ingredients like egg yolks and full cream milk are added to the mix. The ingredients are thoroughly combined until the mixture is well blended into a dough-like consistency. The potato mixture is then transferred into a funnel-like machine, similar to a sausage stuffer, which shapes the mixture into long cylinders. As the cylindrical potato dough exits the funnel, it is transferred onto a large pan, ready to be chilled. The croquettes are placed in the freezer overnight to firm up before the next steps. The next day, the frozen potato dough is removed from the freezer and transported to a cutter, which slices the dough into designated sizes. After cutting, the pieces are placed into a bowl and coated with all-purpose flour. Then, they're dipped into a bowl of whisked eggs, followed by a coating of finely crushed breadcrumbs. The croquettes are laid onto a tray sprinkled with flour to prevent sticking, ensuring they remain intact during the next phase. In a separate room, a large pot of cooking oil is heated to 270 degrees Celsius, 340 degrees Fahrenheit. With care, the croquettes are lowered into the boiling oil, where they fry gently, being stirred every minute for even browning. Once golden and crisp, the croquettes are removed from the oil and placed on a conveyor belt to cool for about 60 seconds. Once fried, the croquettes are rapidly frozen to lock in their freshness. Freezing also helps them maintain their shape and texture when they're cooked later. Finally, they're packaged and stored in the freezer, ready for consumers to reheat and enjoy whenever the craving strikes. And that's a wrap. From the crunchy feel of the French fries to the unique processing of waffle fries, every snack has its loved taste and origin. Hit subscribe, and let's dip into the story of what makes every bite unforgettable. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed learning about how your favorite foods are made, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes looks at your favorite food production process. Drop a comment below if you've ever wondered how anything else is made. We might feature it in an upcoming video. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the flavors of the world.